Okay, we're back to making hamburger time. We're gonna do the same as last time. We're using onion. This really is what gives the flavor to the hamburger. This time we're gonna just use our little Quizzy Pro here to grate almost half an onion. We're using the heavier side of the grate. This is kind of dangerous because you can actually skin your fingers, which I've done before. This time we are going to show you the exact same steps. Maybe we'll add something a little bit different. I wanted to make a hamburger that looks like the Japanese sandwiches. They have this beautiful way of making Japanese sandwiches to make them look really nice and spectacular by cutting them in half and showing the sort of cross-section of them. And we're going to start off with half an onion grated with our Quizzy Pro grater. Might sound like I actually work for the company Quizzy Pro, but I don't. It was something that was a gift from my mother. I'm also going to grate in 2 cloves of garlic. I normally use 1 clove, but I was going to try to increase the garlic flavor in this hamburger. It's really the grating of these 2 ingredients, I think, that makes a hamburger taste really good. You do have to watch out that you don't cook it at too high of temperature, because these ingredients will tend to burn. You know, this is always the most painstaking part of making a hamburger is that garlic. I wish there was a way to cut the garlic up faster. I really do wish there was a way to make the garlic easier to deal with. And of course we have to add black pepper. Lots of black pepper. This one is something I haven't tried. I'm going to try some citrus, lime. Tomato. What kind of tomato? Steakhouse tomato. This is a specific type of tomato that we get in North America that has a very uniform, soft interior. Let me show you what it looks like. Do you see that? It's fleshy, and it only has small pockets of seeds here that are watery areas, but it's majority of fleshy, so I think that actually goes well with a hamburger. So we're going to create 1 slice to add to our hamburger. In this case, it's a very large slice of tomato, and we'll put that on the hamburger bun. I've never cut myself with the sharpest knife ever. Made in Japan, the Kirin knife. It's not stainless, it's actually carbon steel. Keeps its edge really well, and it's extremely sharp. Highly recommend this one. The ultimate knives are made in Japan. Really, they're ultimate. Perhaps because they were making samurai swords for so many years. Anyways, here we are. We now have to add the meat. This is meat, and it's we're very proud of our meat in North America. This is only $8, and it is let's see how it's 500 grams, so half a kilogram for $8. Extra lean ground beef. Last time I recommended that it should be a little bit more fatty than extra lean, but this is all I had to buy at the grocery store. The other thing I'm going to add is, in this instance, will be some avocado. First of all, you cut it in half. This is the easiest way to cut avocado. And you just peel it off the end like that. This time I'm going to add the salt as well into the mix. I'm not sure if it has any effect on the burger, so we'll have to see this time. Onion really carries through just about all cooking, really. I'm sure in French food it's used for a variety of things. One famous French food is French onion soup. And that, I actually would like to learn how to make that. I think it's quite difficult. Sometimes the very simple things, for example pancakes, are very difficult to make. I find stews are quite easy. You just throw a bunch of food into a pot and cook it. And of course the ingredients are very important as well. Now, should we add any herbs to that? It's a good question. I am going to avoid it because I think simplicity is important. Okay, once more we have the pan quite hot. It's on 4 out of 10, a scale of 10. It's 4, so it's a little bit less than halfway. And we have to toast the buns in the oven. It's very important. That's a really big part of making a hamburger. It has to be lightly toasted. And it has to have sesame seeds as well. We're going to just drop these 2 burgers in, and we will, of course, we'll just leave it on there, and do not turn the hamburgers. Leave the hamburgers as they are until you can see some darkness around the outside and the blood starts coming up from the top of the hamburger. That's when you turn it. Don't touch it. Keep it nice and hot and leave it at this point. Okay, we've waited a few minutes here and you can see it start darkening around the edges here. There's some dark pieces on the pan and there's blood starting to come off the top, or juices, meat juice. This is when you actually smell a little bit of the onion starting to burn. Brown, or burn, I guess you could say. Now is the time that you could actually turn it. As soon as you see the meat juice coming out of the top. Let's turn it, and you can see it has been browned. It's not actually quite as good as the meat that had a bit more fat in it. Now, while it's cooking, I actually have to put the cheese on top. And I've got Comté cheese, which is French cheese, which is one of the largest cheese manufacturers in France. You know, French cheese really is unparalleled in the world. I don't think any country will be able to come close, ever. It's very much like sushi in Japan. No other country will ever be able to come close to the flavors. Now, this is from the 70s, and it's a cheese slicer that I got off Etsy. If anyone's interested, this is the ultimate cheese slicer made in Norway. The cheese is very important in making a hamburger. It's perhaps almost equally as important as the meat. By touching it, it is rather hard, so that we know definitely it's now done. In fact, we could have taken it off a little bit earlier. And this is one of the hardest things about a hamburger, is actually deciding when it's done. But you can always feel it. If it's soft and spongy, then it may require a few more seconds, but this is quite firm. And of course, do not waste the juices here. What we should perhaps do is deglaze the pan. It's called deglazing, where you just add some alcohol to the pan. Let's actually give that a try. I'm going to turn it on. And I'll use sake, but you can use whatever you like. Wine is more common. We're just going to deglaze that. And as you can see, the pan, it's just mixing, it's just getting the juices off the bottom. And you can add that sauce to whatever you like. You can soak the burger in it, actually. That's called deglazing. A lot of people don't know how simple that is, but you're actually you're getting all the flavor out of the most important part of the burger. The lettuce. What type of lettuce to use? I found that what they call an iceberg lettuce is the best for a burger because it has a type of sweetness in it and a lettucey flavor that's quite strong, and I guess it's what we're used to. So I would recommend using the iceberg lettuce here. Let's get our toasted buns out. You see it is toasted. Very important. Everyone loves butter. Burger next. And then the lettuce. Then we're adding the tomato on the other side. But before we do that, let's get some mayonnaise. Actually, the mayonnaise is a big part of a burger. It gives it, of course, what we like, and that is fat. And I would recommend to get a local mayonnaise from the store. Normally, grocery stores will have their own version of mayonnaise. I recommend that. And honey mustard. I do add honey mustard to a burger. Then we have to add the tomato and some green color here, and that's our avocado. I'm adding the avocado because I wanted to make it look like a Japanese sandwich. Okay, you know, I saw in Japan they made sandwiches in parchment paper. This is parchment, French as well. Parchment paper, and we're going to assemble the hamburger in this parchment paper. That is to keep the burger together so we can cut it in half. I've not done this before, but let's give it a try. Let's make it tight in the parchment paper, and then we should be able to, actually I should have used more, but we'll be able to cut it in half and have a look at this burger on the inside. This is not working as well as I hoped. And there is our burger. Not exactly, I don't know how they do it in Japan. They make this incredible sandwich in the parchment paper. I think I have to tighten it a little bit. And here we have it. This is our burger.